What's up, fam? It's been a minute since I've done a vlog, and that is basically what I'm going to make this into. But I wanted to touch base on a few things. Number one, super excited that I finally found a venue for my first solo art show. Hey, insert the applause sounds here. Um, Found a warehouse space through a good friend and partner that I work with, and went to go look at it, and my mood and attitude immediately changed. I knew this was it, and I was so excited. I went from being like blah about doing an art show and like this is such a chore to being literally excited about November and the opportunity to display my art and actually seeing in my mind and in my vision what it was going to look like. So excited. Started working on art, busy, creating new pieces. Like once that passion and that creativity hits, it's like it's everywhere. And so I've been cranking out work. I'm also still applying for shows, putting work outside, doing all the things I normally would do on top of trying to come up with this solo show. And so in that process, I sold some art and I'm so thankful and excited about it. But I wanted to talk about it because one of the pieces that sold is this piece here, and I'm going to bring it down so you can see it a little bit better. I know this angle is not the best. I'm trying to comply with sizes with YouTube and other social medias. But the reason I want to talk about it is because normally a piece like this one in particular was created a while ago. It's an older piece, and forever I was like, no one's going to buy this, and I'm okay with that. I'm learning not to make art because I want to sell it. I'm making art because I want to make art. But the piece really has some very huge significance to me. So, and I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about to my artist friends, because there are moments where we think, oh, no one's going to buy this. It's been sitting around forever. You know, fuck it, I'm gonna paint over it. And then you literally realize, or someone else sees it and it resonates with them, and then you realize, like, dang, I'm glad I didn't do that. So, but I want to talk about this piece because it's significant, it's important to me, it means a lot. So, try to do this with the mic. Called. This piece is called "I Can't Breathe," and I made this for my father. My dad, when he was in the hospital, um, let me put this back up here. When he was in the hospital, we found out that he had pretty much scattered cancer cells all over his lungs. And while by the time I get there, because he's in El Paso, and by the time I get there, my mind was like, thinking proactive. What can we do to, what are we going to do to revive him, bring him back? Because at that point he was already in a coma. And the doctor comes in and he was like, at this point it's all about quality of death versus quality of life. And so knowing fair well that he probably was not going to live if we took him off life support, the objective, or at the time the goal, was to get him to hospice care, so if he did wake up they could help make him comfortable until he did pass on his own. um, in that moment and prior to that time, I mean, my dad has been a long time smoker. I mean, he's probably started smoking when he was a young 16 years old, and before he went into the army. And this is early 70s. This smoking was what everybody did, and so. But he's always been a smoker. He's tried to quit. There's lots of moments and conversations we've had there about that. But getting to the point where we're in the hospital, and the doctor saying, at this point, this is where we're at. I distinctly remember prior to that, just him having hard times breathing. And the irony of all of that is I titled this piece prior to the George Floyd situation. And I hate to say the word situation, but the George Floyd instance, I don't feel like is a better word either, but to George Floyd, who literally, where the term "I can't breathe" became very known and familiar for people because of the whole suffocating. And so I resonated with that before, but the thought of living and suffocating and not being able to breathe, and the fear of that, prior to George Floyd, through just my dad's experience is what really pushed this. Yes, the image is very dark. There are some colors in here, and there's obviously a lot of texture in here. And for me, it feels heavy, if that makes sense. And so, anyway, the piece, prior to what I think a lot of people might resonate or relate with, had that feeling or that correlation, if you will, for me. So, this piece for a long time, I was very protective of. I had it in so many different rooms in my house. And then I just kind of was at a point where I was like, it's not being seen. And if anything, I feel like the memory and the spirit of my dad that I was trying to preserve in the art needs to be seen. And so, um, a little bit bittersweet. It's bittersweet that it's sold, but it's also going to a place where I think the buyer mentioned when she read the description and the title, she just knew this was the piece. And so there might be a story there for her as well. But I want to talk about it. I want to vlog it. I want to document it. So one day when I look back at these, I can be like, oh my God, like, this is a great story. I know that my dad will appreciate all of that. The continuation and the correlation of all that was the weekend before it sold. We were outside in the backyard, and this red bird, this cardinal, comes by, and I was like, man, I think there's a meaning between birds and the visiting of cardinals, and there's some spiritual correlation to that. And everybody, when I asked the question on social, everybody was like, yes, it means a loved one is visiting with you. So all this kind of fell around the same time. And I don't necessarily know that I believe in coincidences. I think things happen and for a reason, and I think it happened for a purpose, if you will. And so while it's bittersweet that this piece is leaving because it has so much meaning to me, I also am very happy and pleased that it is going somewhere where it means something. And so, on top of all of that, the person that is purchasing this is a new collector. It's someone not just new to me, but in general, she's trying to purchase more local art, and get more involved in local Black art at that. And that right there just brought so much joy to the kind of the bridge for all of this, because I never really got a chance to talk about my art with my father. My dad knew I was creative. He always said I was a tinker technician and I could make anything and do anything I needed to do. But the art part, him not, being able to see what I've done creativity wise, is hard. I wish he would have seen that before he passed. And so, anyway, jumping forward to my solo show again, full circle. If he was here, I don't know that he would come because he missed a lot of things. He didn't even come to my sister's wedding, y'all. And we don't fault him for it. He is who he is. But I know even though he wouldn't have came, he would be proud. And so at the end of the day, I know he would be proud of the art. He might have called some of it, in his words, probably dumb shit, and that's okay. I would have valued his opinion 100%. But anyway, full circle. I find that the kind of the closing and the sell of this piece is the start of my next journey, my next step, and my next leap into art. And part of that will be the art show that I am having, and I've finally found a space for on November 15th. And so I hope you can join me. If you can't join me, that's fine. Share it, send it to someone, let other people know about it. And if you can't do that or you don't want to do that, that's fine too. Send good vibes. If you can't do anything else, just send good vibes. Thanks again for listening. I appreciate y'all. I know like I said, I know it's been a while since I've done a vlog, and I apologize. I will get better about those, or try to. But I am looking forward to November now. I'm looking forward to delivering this piece, and I'm looking forward to what's next.